Let's be honest, forget everything you thought you knew about getting kids ready for the future. By 2035, the world of work is going to look completely different. So what skills will our children truly need to thrive? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down the absolute must-have skills they need to start building right now.
That's a pretty bold statement, right? It comes from a recent report on AI, and it just really hits home how urgent this is. The ground is literally shifting under our feet, and the old playbooks for success, they're not just outdated, they could actually be holding our kids back. The stakes just couldn't be higher.
So, before we can even talk about skills, we have to get our heads around the world our kids will actually be living in. Let's try to paint a quick picture of this new reality.
And this right here is the game changer. We're not just talking about some fancy new app on your phone. We're talking about a world where generative AI is as common, as invisible as electricity. It's going to be the background hum of everyday life, shaping education, health, even our relationships. It's going to touch absolutely everything.
And that leads us to the heart of the problem, doesn't it? I mean, if a machine can recall any fact in an instant, what's the real value in just memorizing stuff anymore? It makes you wonder, are we preparing our kids for the world that was, or for the world that's coming?
So what's the answer? You might think it involves a ton of coding camps and AI tutors, right? But the sources we looked at point to something, well, something far more fundamental. The solution isn't some futuristic tech. It's actually timeless. It's all about building a secure base.
And this, right here, is the core message. Before we can even begin to build an adaptable mind or a resilient heart, we have to build a secure foundation. You can have all the advanced skills in the world, but they're pretty much useless if a child feels unsafe, unstable, or disconnected.
Now, what's really interesting here is just how practical these ideas are. As you can see, a stable environment is built on things that make a lot of sense: consistent rules, open communication, predictable routines. Research is super clear on this. A chaotic family environment really undermines a child's development. A stable home isn't old-fashioned. It's the essential launchpad for any future success.
And this is really the gold standard for creating that stable environment. It's not about being a highly demanding, unresponsive authoritarian parent, and it's not about being a permissive parent who sets no limits at all. Authoritative parenting finds that sweet spot, giving tons of warmth and support while also holding kids accountable. It teaches them self-regulation, which is honestly one of the most vital skills for navigating any kind of future.
Okay, so with that secure base firmly established, we can start to build the next layer. And that's all about the cognitive skills, the mental flexibility needed to thrive in a world that is just constantly changing.
I absolutely love this concept. Metamemory, think of it like your brain's own personal operating system. It's that awareness of how you learn best. Like, do you remember things better when you write them down or when you say them out loud? That's your metamemory at work. In a world that's just overflowing with information, being able to efficiently absorb, organize, and retrieve knowledge is a genuine superpower.
And this is how we make something like problem solving a skill you can actually teach. It's not some mysterious talent you're born with, it's a process. By walking kids through these steps, from really understanding a social problem all the way to learning from the outcome, we give them the tools to handle complex social challenges. And that's a skill no AI is going to replicate anytime soon.
Okay, so we've covered the stable foundation and the adaptable mind. But what happens when things go wrong? Because let's face it, the future is going to have its share of setbacks and stress. That's where emotional resilience comes into play. This slide is so important because it shows that coping is a learned skill. Immature coping mechanisms, like blaming other people or just pretending a problem doesn't exist, might feel a little better in the moment, but they always create bigger problems down the road. But mature coping, like using humor or channeling frustration into something productive, that helps us process stress and actually move forward. Teaching our kids this difference is like giving them an emotional shock absorber for life.
And this brings us to our final pillar, and honestly, it might be the most important one of all. In a world that's more and more driven by technology, our ability to genuinely connect with other human beings becomes our most valuable, most irreplaceable asset.
So the crucial point here is that social skills aren't some vague, fuzzy concept. They're a collection of specific, observable behaviors. I mean, just look at the traits of popular children: helpful, friendly, considerate. This stuff isn't about being the loudest person in the room. It's about empathy and cooperation, the very things that build trust and allow for real collaboration, whether that's on the playground or in the future workplace.
So, we've laid out the foundation, the mind, the heart, and the skill of connection. Now, let's bring it all back home. What is your role in building this future-proof child?
This is all about a change in mindset,
not a change in your budget. It's about seeing a disagreement not as a fight, but as a chance to practice problem solving. It's seeing a failure not as something to criticize, but as an opportunity to model how to cope in a healthy way. You are the architect, and these day-to-day interactions, those are your building blocks.
Wow, this quote from Dr. William Glasser is just so powerful, isn't it? Parenting is hard. It's so easy to feel trapped in these cycles of frustration, but realizing that our reactions are a choice, that's incredibly empowering. And when we make those conscious, positive choices, we are giving our kids the single most powerful lesson in resilience they will ever get.
Ultimately, this is the real takeaway. We can't give our children a study guide for the year 2035. It just doesn't exist. But what we can do is help them build the character, the mindset, and the hearts and navigate whatever that future holds. So the real question is, how will you choose to build it?
The insights in this explainer were drawn from a really wide range of sources, from foundational books in child psychology to cutting-edge research on tech's impact. If you're interested in diving a little deeper into any of this, we really encourage you to check them out. Thanks so much for joining us,